It's Monday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Morayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. Hello. Yes, yes. I mean, you can't try me. Once you know,
so good every day. Yeah.
Like you've gotten it.
Yes, I'm getting it really well. Hi, BC. I love your hair. I actually really do.
Thank you so much. I want to lament today. Aww. I hardly lament. So on Friday, I sent my shopper to the market to get some foodstuffs because I had run out. And when she got to the market, she finished buying. She now saw that policemen just came in their trucks and they were seizing people, seizing their wares, taking them into their trucks, arresting them, so to speak. And so all of them were screaming, today is Friday now. You gave us Monday and Wednesdays and Friday for us to shop. Why are you taking our goods? Why? They had to, till she called me and I had to call somebody before they released her. What about people who didn't have who to call? So I want to beg the Commissioner of Police, Ejo, speak to your people. Let them know that they have Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays for their shopping. You can't go into the market. People that are struggling to even gather money to eat, and then you are seizing them and arresting them and taking their goods from them. It's unfair.
Totally
we can't be doing that. And tomorrow you say the police is your friend. How will I trust the police when they are, instead of them to be protecting me, they are trying to steal from me? It doesn't make sense. Was very,
we're trying to
annoying.
contain the disease here. So you help if they are not if they're not having that social distancing space.
Do you think they would arrest them when you arrest people? You don't put them. There's no social distancing. Everybody is grouped together.
That's
so
true.
There's a whole lot wrong with it. And I know that it's overzealousness on the part of some officers, and it's really sad because I know a lot of good police officers that are doing the right things, and then you see some few bad eggs spoil the good efforts that they've done. I'm good. So Hallelujah Challenge started. Apparently, I was late to the party. I just realized that it was day 9. And then today's day 10. I'm like, what happened?
That's Nathaniel
Bassi. And whatever it is, I think that this is a season where many things can get to you. So get to God. So that's what I want to say, like, get into God, so that if everything is getting into you, at least you will have a source to strengthen you. And it's been a really strong influence for me in the past 2 days that I joined late to the party, but you can still join anytime. Enjoy yourself and connect with God.
It was more silent this time compared to when last year was really...
You know, I got a message from a young lady, and the reason why I'm saying that, I didn't want to mention it on television, but I have to say, because some people just focus on wrong things. I have a young lady sent me a picture of me on Your View, and she zoomed into my bracelet, this bracelet, and complained that I've been wearing the same bracelet for over a year. That she always noticed it. I mean, on my Instagram page, that I should change it. So I went to the person's page just to have an idea. Okay, who is this person that is talking to me? A young, maybe university. I mean,
I don't wear earrings on the show, guys.
I'm thinking to myself that. Focus, especially COVID-19 has told us that, listen, focus on the important things. This is vanity. I can wear this for the next 2 years as long as it's your own. It's my own, and I can wash it. But the point is that I wouldn't mention her name just for that, but young people need to focus on the right important things. If you watch the show and what you're noticing is somebody's bracelet,
you're not ready.
You are not, you've got, there's so much more to this show than what we're wearing, our hair, the colors. I mean,
you're not even listening to content, you're just looking at the hair.
At least they're wearing something. I don't wear jack, I don't even wear wristwatch or ear. Like, I'm on the show today, no earrings, no wristwatch,
I'm sure she's going to tell
nothing.
Yeah.
So, and I think that that's thank you for bringing it.
I know that's your constituency.
Please, so this market I mentioned is Ilepo market, so that in case that's where they're harassing people. The police is there every day to harass poor market women who are trying to make any living from selling, and those who are coming to buy. Imagine if they had seized my goods, they would have heard it's hot.
Imagine that. Okay, let's go on a break. It's Monday. So much to do today. Yes, let's go on a break. We'll be right back. Right. Okay, so we're going to start with the nation. What's the nation saying today? Lagos lists conditions to reopen businesses, worship centers. Buhari okays suspension of deductions from state's cash. Banks reject payments to foreign business partners with Naira debit cards. Madagascar asks for 170,000 euros from federal government to cure drug. And presidents to unveil new guidelines today. Okay, let's start with the major headline. Lagos State, yes.
Yes, so Lagos State is saying that they're about to, ease the lockdown and open the economy. And there are certain conditions that businesses and religious organizations must meet before they are allowed to open. So they are going to be having a LASEPA and LSSC to go around the businesses to ensure that they meet with the criteria. And there's a register they are also going to open to ensure that people who are ready to, open up their businesses ensure their spacing is correct. They have the protective gears that they're going to be using in those facilities. Yeah. And they also gave like a preferential treatment to elderly ones, saying that they will be attended to in banks and hospitals from like 9 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. before other young people will be attended to in the businesses.
So we're waiting for the guidelines. This is just based on the speech yesterday. So wait for that when the guidelines come out. And for now, we're going to wait for the president's speech today. Let's talk about our president's easing the deductions from the states.
I have two stories in that paper. One is the president's part. So the president has responded to the plea from the state governors that the governors asked the president to stop the direct deductions from their allocation that happens because they've gotten there are 10 states that have accumulated most of the debts in this country, state-wise. And since Nigeria has lost almost 50% of its revenue, which means that the government, what the state governments will be earning would be 50% less than what they have. A few states, almost a lot of the states, according to, they didn't mention the state, but they said a lot of states will not be able to pay their June salaries because the income has dropped. So the good news is that they've given them rebates concerning paying back, having the deductions, and they're asking all the state governors to individually go and negotiate with the banks and their lenders to see how they can get a better rates concerning how they will get.
So they have 1 year off. So a whole year, you know,
1 year off due to COVID, and then renegotiate how you want to pay. But the banks have instituted another policy based on CBN. All the banks are saying now that you cannot pay a third party, a business third party, in another currency. Citing an example of even a Facebook payments for adverts, it can't go through from your Naira debit card. It has to go through from cash inflow from a foreign account. So you cannot do business with the money you bought, your dollars you bought in Nigeria, to do a business internationally. They said it's putting a lot of strain on our foreign exchange and our reserve abroad, and so you can't sustain it.
Moving on to the Punch. Police lament absence of COVID-19 job allowance, face masks and others. Family accused PDP of shooting policeman dead. Pastor fined 5,000 naira, back 3-hour community service. Oyo shots firm where 30 workers test positive. FIRS ignores Buhari's directive, sacks 9 directors. We've paid federal government 13 billion naira for gas purchase, says NLNG. And FG impounds British aircraft, alleges illegal flight begins probe. Okay, let's start with the major headline. The police are lamenting.
So the Punch carried out an investigation. So the police that are in charge of the interstate travels, that's the ban on interstate travel, they've been deployed to different states to ensure that people don't travel from state to state. They are the ones lamenting now that they've not been given their protective gear. They don't have the face masks. They don't have the sanitizers. They don't have a special package. There's no allowance that is given to them. So they're just there and they are left to just thrive there while they are, interfacing with people who probably will have the COVID-19. And some of them have lost their lives in the field. They mentioned the deputy commissioner from Edo State and some other persons. So they are saying that they are appealing to the federal government to ensure that they give them the masks, they give them what they are expected to have in order to continue doing this job, and make sure that they give them something, like a special package just to encourage them. They are in the forefront, like they're doing for the healthcare workers who have these special welfare packages.
Okay, so, FIRS.
Yes, the FIRS, like all the civils, as retired 9 directors. This is in compliance with the existing law signed by the former president, Yar'Adua, saying that when you are 65 years or you're 35 years in service, if you're 65 years old, or you've spent 35 years in service, you should retire. However, our president had given an instruction, a letter signed by the chief of, a letter signed by head of service, saying that that law should be suspended and people don't need to, shouldn't be retired at their age when they arrive for retirement. The former chairman of FIRS complied, but the new one, NAMI, has said that he's standing with the pre-existing law, and so we're going to see how that works out.
Okay, so 3 pastors protesters were arraigned in the mobile courts in Abuja. Yes, they were, of course, they were
service now.
Service. But what was interesting that they now disappeared into the crowd. They denied. They had to fish them out. Eventually, I mean, if you want to do this thing confidently, say yes, I am the pastor. Don't break the law. That's the bottom line. They're not hiding.
Jesus anyway, said, give to Caesar what is Caesar's.
No, but I heard some people do their own service, like small churches, they do their service between 5 a.m. and 6 a.m. So before you come outside to come and implement, they're already done with their church service. So.
Okay, smart. Daily Sun, very quickly. FG seizes UK-based plane over illegal operations. Southeast must be secure, says Ohaneze. 4.3 billion naira. Ondo Assembly may begin impeachment process against Akeredolu. COVID-19, Buhari to address nation today, receives PTF report. And FIRRO minister orders reinstatement of suspended acting DG. Okay, let's start with the plane, this UK-based plane.
Yes, so this UK-based plane, it's Embraer 135 jets belonging to Flairjet, a UK-based operator. They were given license to come in for humanitarian services because we've, shut the airspace for like an additional 4 weeks. But these people came in and it was more like a commercial service that they were carrying out. So the plane was impounded by the federal government. The crew are being seized. They are being interrogated at the moment. And the federal government is saying this is not the time to flout laws. We give all of these conditions and all this, shutting down the airspace because we're trying to fight COVID-19. And we actually gave you a license. You're coming in for humanitarian services. You can't use us to be doing business. We are strict about this and investigations are ongoing. And I want to applaud. I feel proud that there was no bribe somehow, and they did what they were supposed to do.
Because we got the papers. So, I mean, I know they went to Cotonou.
They were coming from Cotonou, yeah.
Okay, Akeredolu, our governor in Ondo State.
Ondo State House of Assembly, they were having a bit of issue. I didn't correlate the headline.
The issue was the 4.3 billion naira, that secret account.
Yes, the secret account was by former late Agagu.
Yes.
So when I read the story, I was trying to see why they had that issue, but it wasn't itemized.
Okay, what I read, but there's already bad blood between the House of Assembly and the governor. So they're now saying they want him to take responsibility. They're trying to get him to take responsibility. So I think the finance minister, if you're a commissioner of finance, if you others have already come to tell them what happened, how did that money come about, based on their own knowledge. And then they're trying to see if they can get in. The deputy speaker is trying to get the governor himself to come and testify to tell us how that money.
But the money, it wasn't the one that put the money there. And they're saying that the reason they're threatening him is because he did not repair their State House of Assembly.
That's what it was. That's what the writer was trying to say, was reminding us of what happened, the bad blood. I'm not saying that's the reason why. That's not the reason why they're impeaching. Just telling us, was reminding us of what happened.
And they're saying that the deputy government in better terms with the speaker. No politicking in this period, please. Ondo States, this is not the time for politicking. Let's just focus.
Let's move on to the Vanguard. COVID-19, why UK plane was impounded, we talked about that. Lockdown could kill more people than COVID-19 in developing nations, UNICEF warns. Gunmen on rampage in Edo, Cross River, Delta communities. 3 Dubai evacuees in Lagos test positive. Those that were evacuated from Dubai. And set up to Buhari, ban car perks for presidency and ministers. Okay, let's talk about the UNICEF. That was an interesting story.
So United Nations Emergency Fund are warning that the lockdown could kill people, especially children, and they are predicting about 1.2 million children, saying that they could die as a result of diarrhea, malaria, and all those children-based diseases, saying that the lockdown we're actually carrying out is not what is going to help us fight COVID-19. That is just a blanket lockdown, and it's not a one-size-fits-all. We're supposed to find other means of handling this problem. We are going to be locking down people who are in probably face me, I face you. There's no social distancing. There's no space for them to breathe and all of that. So we have to.
Very interesting. I was going to quote. Thank you. You actually got that quote because I was really moved by that quote. It reminded us that, and we've been saying this from day one. You have to domesticate our own solutions. And so I'm happy that UNICEF is also echoing that. Let's take another story. I think we've taken most of the... Okay, 3 of those that came in from Dubai have tested positive. I think about 240-something that came in from Dubai.
Wow.
And I'm happy that...
It's a bit worrying, though, because I know that we had the head of the Diaspora Commission saying that they were supposed to have been tested before coming in.
Yeah.
They were supposed to have tested, and only those that were negative would even be allowed to fly in. And then when they now come in, they will now be isolated for 14 days. So is that somebody lied somewhere or somewhere? Because, and I would like to have the minute, because Minister of Foreign Affairs is supposed to supervise this implementation.
Tell us where they are.
What happened? Yeah. How did these people get in? Is it that they did not, were negative
I'm sure there'll be some contact tracing to know exactly how that happened. Final paper this morning is Daily Trust. Only 2,843 of the 74,000 inmates freed in 3 months. I think that's the only story we've not taken. COVID-19, FG announces new measures today. How 479 billion naira a Greek mechanization loan will be utilized. Let's talk about the major headline, the inmates.
So they're saying that 2,843 inmates so far have been released from the federal and some states as well. That's the prisons, custodial centers, so to speak. And they're saying that we have about 74,127 inmates and just about 2,000 something has been released. It's not enough to decongest the prisons. And they're also having some issues because a lot of people who are funding or who are transacting businesses, like people who provide food, may not want the prisoners to, to be decongested because they are making money out of it. But I think that we should look more into it. The
correctional services have actually said that the congestion is still ongoing. This is not the end, and there will be more in the future. Unfortunately, that's all we can take on Front Page Review. When we come back, we'll discuss Governor Sanwo-Olu's brief on COVID-19. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So, according to reports, Lagos State government is considering phase-by-phase reopening of the economy. Governor Sanwo-Olu said a register will be opened to ensure inspection of businesses and compliance with physical distancing rules before the lockdown can be eventually lifted in coming weeks. What are your general thoughts on this? You can give us a call on 07080668014. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourVTVC so we can read your tweets. Recall that last week the government did go on try to conduct a poll online to get people's thoughts on either they should reopen or lift the lockdown. And quite a number of people were asking for an extension of the lockdown because people were actually flouting these rules. And we're also expecting our president to speak to us today to see if they will end this phase or reopen another phase of easing. Either way, let's hear your thoughts on easing the lockdown, because the government has actually complained about the drastic effect it has had on the economy and the fact that we can't shut this for too long. Yeah. Let me hear your thoughts.
Okay, for me, initially, a few weeks into the lockdown, I was thinking, okay, this is the way to go, make sure that everybody stays indoors. But I realized that it's not really working. It's not really saving, because the people who pretend to stay indoors are really not staying indoors. People are still traveling interstate. I don't know how they are, finding their way around the borders. Right. They're still going. I spoke to somebody which day, and the other day she was in another state, and I was wondering, how did you pass? Where did you pass? And all of that. So we should stop deceiving ourselves. Exactly. The lockdown is not going to work for us as a people. We should try as much as possible to fight this COVID by being aware of what's about and find a way to protect ourselves from contacting. So you could have even met someone with COVID and not contract it because you protected yourself, you had your hand sanitizer. So we should teach people that this is what it's about. You need to be able to go to work, but then maintain your social distancing, protect yourself, have your hand sanitizers, just make sure that you protect your space. Right. That way, the virus will phase out. Eventually. But if we keep staying indoors for God knows when, before we come out, the economy would have crumbled, people have not eaten, more people will die of hunger than actually COVID-19. Exactly. So for me, I think it's
interesting because my watchman came this morning. I've not seen my watchman in 2 whole months, the whole lockdown. And he called me last week and said he'd like to come in this morning. What he does, he always helps us to iron our clothes. So when he came in, of course, we already planned for him. He has where he's going to stay. Use your sanitizer. He washed his hands before he even entered the house at all. Remove your shoes. And then we got him a sanitizer. I said, whenever you want to leave that section I'll give you want to go to the toilet or want to go outside for work, sanitize. Yeah. And you're coming back from inside, from outside, this and that sanitizer. So we've explained, and he's using his face mask. And I've told the kids, don't go where the washman is. So these are some of the realities of the time that we need to put in place, and the measures we're putting in place to know that life will go on. Life has to go on. But we have to be aware of what is going on. But you don't totally agree that we should have a total lifting. Let me hear your thoughts.
I think that based on our medical, lack of enough medical help, medical professionals, medical services, I worry about lifting the lockdown and the effect it will have, causing more strains. Because for now, we still have capacity to handle the cases we are having. But if we now have if it blows out of proportion, we probably would now have a case where I know that before this crisis, hospitals were already unable to handle regular cases. So we made exceptions for COVID-19, but what if we now mismanage the situation to the extent where we can't even handle the COVID-19 cases that come up in the country? But another side of me, which I know what the government is thinking of, is that Nigeria has over 82 million poor people. We are the headquarters of poverty. Most of these people live on less than $1 a day. Yes, that $1 that they used to earn every day, they can't even earn during the past 8 weeks of lockdown. So that a government that is thinking of the people that they have to serve would think of, I can't feed 82 million Nigerians. I can't. And they don't have money, they don't have a job. Let them go back to work and let me help them with information to protect themselves. Lagos has over 100 slums. And in these slums, it's not just people living in slums, and about 60% of our population live in the slums in Lagos. So when UNICEF is saying that even the lockdown is ineffective, I'm beginning to understand why. Because if you live in a slum, and if 60% of your population in Lagos live in a slum, is it not better for them to go out and interact?
So there are two sides of this.
Yes, and because of the compassion we should have for those who don't have a savings, they don't have any savings, they don't have any means of livelihood, they need to just step out. It's not to say, let's begin to raise more awareness for all the hygienic things we can do to protect ourselves, as opposed to just
we generally obviously agree with this phased out lockdown, but he also talked about churches and mosques, place of worship, beer parlors, the malls, the cinemas, and the idea is that they plan to actually give them this new guidelines that they must follow before they open. Now, I'm not sure what those guidelines would be, exactly how they plan to have it, because at some point it still affects the number of people that are actually going to church, the number of people that are going to the malls, the number of people that are going to the cinemas. We don't know what the guidelines are, but they've asked LASEPA and LCC to go and help us to begin to put those numbers together and see what's going to happen. But in your view, do you think it is even possible? I worry that can LASEPA do that job? Can LSSC actually go around, begin to inspect, monitor, ensure people are facing guidelines? How realistic is that?
Let's give Nigerians some credit now. People who are exposed, people who know what's up, know that they love their lives and they will want to protect themselves. So even before LASEMA comes to your building or your business to monitor how you handle your spacing, your protective gear and all of that, you as an individual will not want to just put people's lives at risk who are coming into your business. So let's give them some credit that Nigerians really know what is up and they want to open, they want to handle this business. So they are going to prepare themselves. I do not think that LASEPA and the other LSSC will be able to cover the whole of Lagos State. I don't think so, because we're really plenty. We are many here. But what I see is people are ready. They are tired of staying at home. They want to come out. So they are going to protect themselves. Okay, and for those who are not protecting themselves, we need more awareness. Because in my area, let's not forget that the face mask, they are still wearing it on their neck, Chineke. On their neck. They still don't understand that they are meant to protect the mouth and the nose.
All right. Let me take this call from Aloy. Aloy, are you there?
Yeah.
Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
Good morning, first-time caller.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. I appreciate all you are doing. And the concern of the lockdown, look at it, Cross River, State, Kogi, they don't embark on that such lockdown. And it's working very well. And, the poor are afraid of hunger virus, but the rich are afraid of COVID-19. And so, lockdown, the only thing that we need wisdom, God's wisdom in anything we want to do. Because it doesn't be wisdom that we're able to give us the idea of combating this very virus. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your thoughts. I didn't hear the last part.
He said was talking more about hunger virus and the fact that Cross River didn't implement the lockdown. So for me, I think that obviously LASEPA and the LSSC cannot. They don't have the capacity. They don't have the personnel that they can deploy everywhere. So there'll be a few scapegoats, and there'll be a few, there'll be the first gragra, the first few days gragra to implement. So my appeal will be that the Lagos State has done in a lot trying to inform people, but I still see social media and I hear people that have a smartphone that I've seen enough, that I believe should have enough information, still doubting that this is not true, this is not real, people are not dying, show us the dead bodies, show us the sick people, show us the ventilator being used, and I want us to spread more information, because you cannot compel compliance. You cannot use, you can't use violence, or say in the case of let us try and enforce it, you might end up having case of human rights violations. Abuse, So to avoid that, my plea would be that every media personnel should do more. Let's push on our social media handles. Let everybody that has information share the information to help more people know. So that compliance is now, we own this law. It's not enforced on us or imposed on us.
You want to save your life. Okay, let me take this call from Alabi. Good morning, are you there?
Yeah, good morning.
Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
Okay. My name is Alabi, as you rightly mentioned. I am of the opinion that the lockdown should be lifted.
Okay.
Because, like you guys rightly said, people are still moving interstate, and all of that is still going on. And if you keep locking us in the house without the necessary palliative and the right to actually go along with our businesses and do the needful, then it doesn't make any meaning. Other countries where they lock people down, they allow them to, they are being fed, they are being catered for, and then they hardly feel
Nigeria can't feed you.
But here in Nigeria, you just keep us in the house. There's nothing for us, and the economy is dying.
Thank you very much. So we'll continue this conversation, especially after our president's address today, to see what the next steps are. But the governor was silent on education and the kids. He didn't say anything about the schools. That's a major issue.
I don't think the schools should open now.
So that he didn't say anything, but we'll see how it goes, because
children don't know their left from their right.
Opinion.
They don't have to know the left from their right.
The school thing is a major issue.
They should stay at home.
You rant another day, not today. Now. Let's go to break. When we come back, there's still an issue with the economy, especially because people are thinking of, some people are actually thinking of resigning, starting their own businesses, saying that it's possible that their salaries will be slashed or they'll be fired or something like that. And companies seem not to be able to pay salaries. Let's discuss with the financial expert when we come back after the break. Stay with us. Don't go anywhere.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. Richard has it that one of the major reasons people are badly affected by recession, depression, economic downturn is because of not planning. Now, also caused by coronavirus in the lack of financial intelligence principles, notably money management, planning, and implementation. Joining us is a seasoned financial expert, renowned author, Pastor Olumide Emmanuel. Good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning, Mariah. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning,
Good to have you on the show today. Right, so
thanks.
Globally, everybody is sacking, reducing staff, slashing salaries. And even in Nigeria, locally here, companies are beginning to do the same. And you're wondering, is it that they didn't plan for the future? Is it that companies don't have savings to buffer, like some kind of a buffer for times like these? It's almost as though companies just, this happened on them, and then the next thing to just do is to let go of staff. How best can companies going forward begin to save some of their revenues to forestall circumstances like this?
Well, thank you very much for having me. I think for companies, it's actually more or less like what we call catch-22, because there are business principles and financial principles that individuals, families, and organizations need to abide by. But most of the time, theory and practical are two different things. So for instance, for every organization, your total payout when we come to the salaries and emoluments of all staff should not be more than 30% of your income. So it means that the staff salary, their pension, their payee, their leave allowance, their bonus, everything should not be more than 30%. That's from the CEO to the gate man. So from the highest staff to the least should not be more than 30% of their income. According to financial management principles, every individual, family, and organization should also save a minimum of 10% of their income for eventualities. So that simply means that for an organization, apart from the fact that you are supposed to make sure that your salaries and emolument is not more than 30% of your income, you should be saving 10% of every profit that you make. But that is not very, very easy in practice, because for a lot of business people, you find out that most of the time when you are in business, you end up not even paying yourself. Sometimes you end up taking money from your own personal pocket to pay your staff just to keep the company going, because most organizations and businesses needs between 2 to 5 years to be able to really stabilize and begin to, in actuality, practice some of these principles. So for the companies that are laying off now, some of them have not been able to apply those principles, so they don't have any savings. And for some of them, they are laying off because they have come to realize that most of the staff that they have are actually dead weight and they are not effective going forward. Because a lot of people never knew that they could run their company virtually. I run a group of company, and for the past 6 years, my staff have been coming to work only twice in a week for the past 6 years. So all this lockdown, I've been working from home for the past 6 years.
Wow.
So it's something we have been doing. When we went through the last recession and I saw the way things were going, I already knew that we cannot continue to pay people for activity. We have to pay for productivity.
Right.
And I've been an advocate for many years of why people should be paid per hour, not per month. Most of the time, people just go to work. Sometimes they are finished working 2-3 hours, they are done, they just gisting, going on the internet. So we need to come back into task-oriented work schedule.
So do you think it's time? Do you think it's time for us to begin to consider the American system of per hour, or to begin to, because right now in Nigeria we pay people in chunks, you know, they all the leave allowances and all that. So are you advocating that might be a good idea to for companies to begin to think that way?
That's the way forward. We have no choice. Okay, most of the places we call developed countries, that's what they do. So why are we called third world nation? Did God create 3 worlds? One of the reasons why nations are called third world nations, you are rated based on what you produce. We are more of consumer nation. That's why we consume their principle, we consume their idea. We don't think for ourselves. That's why they say social distancing. And all of us are saying social distancing instead of physical distancing. They say 3 square meal. We are all saying 3 square meal instead of 3 triangle. It's 3 triangle or square. So we keep collecting without thinking for ourselves. And that's what has led us to where we are. So we need to realize that one of the reasons why we have problems of corruption is this salary system. You pay people per month, yet when you want to pay rent, you pay rent per annum. If somebody is earning income per month and is supposed to pay rent per annum, where do you expect him to see the money without stealing or begging? So we need to actually go back to paying people per hour. Many of the people in the civil service today, they are not doing much. Many of them, computer can replace them, technology can replace them. Many of them go to work 2-3 times a day, yet they collect salary. Why? Because, fix for help me sign, tell them I'm coming, and they have gone to Ibadan. So you need to understand that if we want to be like a developed nation, we have to begin to do things the right way.
Develop ourselves.
Paying people per hour, paying people by task is part of what we have to think of going forward.
You've covered many points. You've broken many tables. But as a business owner, and I've tried the model of paying, I run a beauty-based business. We do makeup per person. So I've tried to implement, for every income you earn a percentage of it. That's almost like a productivity measured payment structure. It didn't work. When I did it, I lost all my staff that was working with me that time. They went to places where they had assurance of salary. So, and since it's a new business trying to come up, for every time I am losing hands, my staff, most of the clients will be uncomfortable with a new person. So there was another loss of confidence in clients from losing or from that turnover. So that's on one hand. People want safety for their salaries. They pay for their transport fare. So if I come to the office for a week and we don't have clients, the person will not be like, so that means that my transport fare for that entire week has been wasted. We need to, and I read all these things in the book, and I'm wondering if people are giving information that is not practical on ground for different types of businesses. Okay. So can we domesticate this knowledge to be applicable to different businesses that are struggling in different... I've given you my own prototype now to help people that are like me.
Okay. Okay, so let's understand something. Thank God I'm in business. I run 9 different companies on a global level. I know what you're talking about. I've been there. We run a real estate company. We have people that are marketers. And our marketers, some of them earn as much as 800,000 a month commission, whereas staff is collecting 70,000. When you tell the staff, you to become a marketer, everybody marketer, no, they want that guaranteed 70,000 per month. It's because of our upbringing. It's because of the way we have been brought up, our educational system, our culture. So a lot of people are salary oriented. Salary is slavery. Nobody can really pay you what you are really worth. But when you instead of settling for salary, you have to begin to think of income. When people understand that their efforts can pay more than salary,
they will forget salary.
So what you are supposed to, which is what we have done, is you need to have different levels of benefits. Okay. So number 1, you have what we call monthly allowance. So what they are calling salary, you program your business in such a way that every month, no matter what happens, you are taking this home. And that should be calculated based on the minimum wage of your state or the government or what your company can afford. So if we say minimum wage is 30,000 now, for instance, now, you can now say everyone that is working in this organization, your salary or take home every month is 30,000. So that's general for everybody. Okay. Now, that settles their mindset of salary. Okay. Because in the rat race of life, even if you win the race, you are still a rat.
Yes.
Whether it's golden handcuff, wooden handcuff, silver handcuff is handcuff. Salary cannot help you. So once you do that best, the next thing you now do is you give them what we call target bonus, and then you give performance bonus. So there is general that everybody will collect. Then we have target bonus. You set a target and say, okay, if you are able to bring a customer that comes directly through you, for every customer that you bring, you are going to get this. Apart from that, we are now going to set a target for the entire company to say, okay, this month, we are trusting that with all our efforts, social media, adverts, one-on-one, we're going to be doing makeup for 30 people per month, 50 people per month, times 12 months, 600. If we now meet that target, then there's another performance bonus. So that means that everybody will have the 30,000. So that salary mentality, you settle it for them. But for people to really be able to go far, you now have to come up with these other levels. Because in staff remuneration, there are levels. There are levels that people get to where they become executive. You now begin to talk about profit sharing. You begin to talk
bonuses.
About equity.
Let me pause you for a second.
Fantastic.
Let me pause you for a second. I have a call just in case we can get some questions in. Good morning. Are you there?
Good morning, Auntie Morayo.
Good morning, madam. Go ahead, please.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, ma.
My sister Ubo, good morning.
Good morning, ma.
And my fine sister, everybody. I love you all. My sister Ubo, I'm your...
Hello?
Hello?
Oh, network. I do apologize. Yes, CBC, question.
So,
please call back.
I'm a bit worried because we see a lot of people saying, we don't know what's going to happen. I better start looking the other way to start doing business. And we know that a lot of people are not wired into going into entrepreneurship. So some people are meant to work for other people. But everybody's like, business is the way forward, business is the way forward. What do you tell somebody who, because probably he's going to be losing a job, wants to get into business? How does he position himself so that he doesn't get burnt and then come back and start looking for another job?
Okay, now we need to understand something. Everybody cannot be an entrepreneur. Everybody cannot go into business, but everybody must have financial intelligence and everybody must be an investor. Being an entrepreneur and being an investor are two different things, and financial intelligence is the key. So if you want to be a career person, no problem. But when you have financial intelligence, you will now understand that even in every career path you choose, there is the career profession and there is the investment dimension of that profession. So if you say, I want to be a medical doctor, there is the medical profession and there is the medical business. You say, I want to be a lawyer, there is the law profession, there is the law business. You say, I want to be a teacher, there is a teaching profession, there is a teaching business. The business in it is learned by financial intelligence. People are in show business. Some people are known for the show. They sack their trouser, they dreadlock, they do bling bling, they do tattoo, but they are poor. They are celebrity beggars. Why? Because they do the show, but they don't understand the business in the show. So if you are a career person, career person, you need to understand the business in that career. So you are a medical doctor now. That's your career. That's your profession. But for generations, they are on strike today. Doctors are on strike tomorrow. Why are they on strike? Because even though they are in the medical profession, they are salary earners. They don't understand
Jesus Christ.
Maybe whereas the Igbo boy in Alaba, he didn't go to school for 13 years to study medicine, but he's selling glove, he's selling other, and he's making them up because he's involved in the business. So every doctor now, they use gloves, they use syringe, they use cotton wool, but they are not selling. They are not selling pressure, blood pressure check. That is the business of. So the Igbo boy that did not go to school, we import a container load of syringe, a container load of cotton wool. Is in the medical business.
Hallelujah.
He's a multi-millionaire. You are a medical.
Let me pause you for a second. You are breaking our tables. Let me pause you for a second. I think I have a call. Good morning. I hope this person has a question. Good morning. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, my name is Joseph, calling from Korodu.
Yes, go ahead.
I am surprised that the three of you sitting here are not wearing masks. And you people are complaining that people are not complying. I don't know how you want people to comply when you that is telling people to wear masks, you are not wearing masks.
When you watch international news, do you see people wearing masks on TV? It's not right. We do actually adhere to all social distancing guidelines, and I do have my face mask. Immediately after the show, we put it on and leave the show. I can't be speaking to you through the face mask. It's not professional and it's not appropriate. That's why we don't. So we all have our face mask here. And looking after the show, we put it right on.
What I was saying is, if you can talk within there without face mask, it means that I can still talk in my office or in the marketplace without face mask. When it's a journalism handout, these people in journalism handout are talking, they wear face mask. So I think.
So when you watch CNN and you watch international news, do they wear face masks? When you watch other news in Nigeria stations, do they wear face masks? When you watch our news channels, other news programs in TVC, do you see them wearing face masks? Journalists Hangout did choose to wear it, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong in it, but there's no direct rule that says we must wear a face mask on TV, and that's not really our focus this morning. Okay, going back to our guest. Now, go ahead, Tokwe.
Please, let me ask you this question, because I realize that I'm in the space of asking and propelling entrepreneurship and saying, let's get into business. People should make money with their talents, make money with their skills and all of that. But we also have this cultural problem of everybody feeling like, I don't want to work for you. I can work for myself. I want to work and earn my own money. I don't want to be saying yes, sir, to anybody. How does a business build loyalty within staff? How do we get people that would serve diligently the way you're saying for other people? Because you're already encouraging everybody to go into business. So who would work for the business if everybody is running a business?
Did you encourage that?
Now, we need to understand that when we develop people holistically, even when you are a staff of an organization, you are supposed to be an entrepreneurial staff. Entrepreneurship is all about solving problems, offering value. So you are supposed to be a solution provider, a value provider. So even if you are a staff, you are a gate man, you should be an entrepreneurial gate man. You should be solving problems. You should be proactive. You shouldn't wait to be told everything. Because when they say we are employing you, every advert says vacancy, accountant needed, HR director needed. Every advert of vacancy publicity is a cry for help. The organization is saying we need you to come and help us in this area. However, the problem is people that are now looking for the job, they are coming thinking, oh, I'm looking for a place to help me with salary because they don't have a capital. So everybody should understand whether you are working for somebody or not, you are an entrepreneur because you are supposed to be offering solutions and offering value. And if you think that starting your own business will give you one free time, is deception. When you start your own business, no resumption time, no closing time, even in the middle of the night, you are working 24/7.
Right.
And you're,
oh my goodness.
You're working for your customers.
Right.
Your customers are now Customers are always right. Ignorant but right. Confused but right. Difficult but right. Right.
We have to bring you back, Pastor Emmanuel.
Honestly.
Oh, no, I'm sorry I have to cut you off abruptly. I do apologize. We run out of time, but we have to bring you back. We definitely, we learned quite a bit from you today, and definitely we're going to bring you back to share your experience and expertise with us, especially in the financial and economic sector. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We're going to go on a break now. When we come back, we'll continue the show. Stay with us. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us ahead of the 2023 general election. The House of Representatives have cleared the way for independent candidates, not sponsored by any political party, to contest for elective offices, otherwise known as independent candidacy. According to reports, one can only contest for elective office if he or she is a member of a political party and is sponsored by that party. That's according to our constitution, actually. The Chief Whip House of Representative Honorable Mohammed Mungono is online this morning to tell us why he's pushing this bill. Good morning, sir. Are you there?
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. How are you?
Very good. Very good. Thank you so much. Yes, we are. So this independent candidacy bill, tell us about it. Why is there, I know constitutionally you have to join a political party before you run for any office, but don't you think you need a constitutional review first before introducing this bill?
Well, you know, a constitution is supposed to be an organic document that changes with time to reflect the existing realities in the society. The constitution is not supposed to be static. So it was against this backdrop and having regard to the realities of the Nigerian political environment today that this bill was sponsored to bring about an independent candidate in our political system. And then the main reason behind the sponsorship of this bill is one, there is no internal party democracy within our political parties. It's like the machinery of our political parties that normally makes candidates for elected positions is at the whims and caprices of very few individuals. Or in a nutshell, the political parties have been hijacked by a very few group of people that dictate who gets what in our political context. So it was against this growth that once there is provision for independent candidature, is given our democracy, people would not need to be a member of a political party to contest an election.
Right.
Again, if you look at the various manifestos of our parties, they are devoid of clear-cut ideologies, clear-cut directions. They are all similar data.
Right.
And as such, there is a need for an alternative view or alternative platform whereby people can ventilate their opinion to the Nigerian public for a possible election into an elected
right. Okay.
Using an alternative platform and an alternative view, of which the present political parties, as they are constituted now, do not have such alternative view and such alternative platform to the generality of Nigerians, coupled with the fact the machinery of these political parties is at the pleasure and whims and caprices of very few individuals that dictate.
Okay, all right.
I hear you, Honorable, and I sort of understand, but I don't agree. As it is during the last election, we had an extremely long voters lists, and people were folding to thumbprint. There were issues of, in trying to thumbprint, fold your paper in a way that will not make the ink stain another one and make it invalid. The issues you highlighted are major issues, but the solution doesn't seem for me to be putting in independent candidacy? Because we already have so many, and the only people that get numbers are the top two, APC and PDP. So why don't we focus on rejigging the way we do our political structure? Because you said the issue you had is that the political structures have been hijacked in the major parties, so people cannot come as independents. Why don't we focus on rejigging the political structure to give each political party that they must have an ideology and they must have what they represent, rather than saying we want to create independent candidacy? Do you understand my point?
Yeah, in addition to that, why don't we just collapse all the numbers to maybe just have 3 or 4 maximum? I mean, is that not better than introducing a new independent candidacy?
Thank you very much for this thought-provoking question. Well, political parties is supposed to be an amalgam of people of similar views and similar opinions. And as such, you cannot, by way of law, force people to belong to the same political party, because it is a voluntary association. If you join political parties on their own free will, after articulating and aggregating their views and interests. And as such, you cannot, by way of law, decree that people must belong to political A or political B, because it is something that is supposed to be out of their own free will and out of their own volition. With regard to when an independent candidate is introduced into our law, the avalanche of candidates.
Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. Yes, before the break, Bisi had a question. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I believe this bill is a step in the right direction, because even the American presidential system that we are copying has this independent candidacy as part of their constitution. So for me, it's okay. But one of the things I see that it's going to help us solve the issue of godfatherism, which has bedeviled our political space right now, in the sense that the godfathers are the ones who pick the people who they give to us as our leaders. And because they have the financial backing for all of the expensive campaigns, we also know that the pricing for the tickets are quite expensive. Now, when this bill gives room for independent candidacy, what do you do in terms of leveling the playing ground so that those independent candidates can, purchase the tickets and not have to rely on a political party or a godfather to sustain them?
Well, thank you very much. I think that is the reason or the lacuna that this bill seeks to cure in the 1999 Constitution by introducing the independent candidate. As we are all living witnesses, even as it is now, when govt decide to deprive a candidate of a ticket in the we are all living witnesses to the fact that people cross over to a lesser political party and win election. So by bringing up independent candidates, we are further deepening democracy, and we are further inflicting or minimizing, one, the role of money in our political discussion, as well as the overbearing influence of godfathers in determining who emerges as a candidate of political A or political B. I assure you, because this is the 5th time I am coming to the House of Reps, I have enough experience in the matters of political contestation in this country. I assure you that when it comes to independent candidates, godfathers do not have much influence or trying to determine who emerges or who is elected by Nigerians, because at that point their influence will be much more lesser, because they cannot reach out to general Nigerians to influence who they are going to vote when it comes to independent candidates. because independent candidates will emerge purely based on their own merit and purely based on their own record, and also purely based on how they relate with the people at the grassroots and their acceptability to the people at the grassroots.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So, do you think that our INEC is equipped, looking at the past elections and the fact that they were finding it very difficult to coordinate about how many political parties? Do you think they are equipped to handle, you know, the way Nigerians are? Everybody will want to come out and contest for one position or the other. Do you think INEC is equipped to handle all of that?
Yes, that's why I said it's not going to be something that is not regulated. Like, for example, you have to get a number of signatures that of people that are going to sponsor you as an independent candidate. And those people that are going to sponsor you as an independent candidate shall not belong to any existing political party.
Okay.
So these are some of the safeguards that will be put in place in the Electoral Act to regulate who emerges as an independent candidate, and then to make sure that the whole process is not inundated with avalanche of candidates coming out to contest as an independent candidate, thereby overwhelming the INEC.
Right. Okay, I know this has passed the first reading. We'll keep monitoring to see how far it's going to go. Would there be a public hearing on this?
Yes, once the Constitution Review Committee is inaugurated, when in the Senate it has been inaugurated, we are waiting for the inauguration of the Independent Constitution Review Committee in the House of Reps. Once it is inaugurated, they will take the ground running and then start the process of amending the 1999 Constitution, not only the issue of independent candidates.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us this morning. We appreciate you for enlightening us on this bill. We keep monitoring it and see what happens going forward. Any tweets for those ladies? Any tweets?
I wasn't even checking.
There are lots of tweets, but they are from the previous conversation we had. So someone says, oh, it just went away.
Okay,
so someone said, I don't see, sorry.
Okay, Tayo says, thanks to the expert for all he said this morning. We need more people like him to take us out of our financial status. My only problem was being paid per hour. You can work for other sectors except teaching. Some teachers earn 20K per month after working for a minimum of 6 hours per day.
Right.
So, Dr. says, whether the lockdown or not is not a discussion for another time. One thing is clear, the whole COVID statistics and government reaction is clothed in secrecy, and the hardship on innocent citizens was subjected to is mechanically manufactured. Vincent said, Mister, you nailed it, Bam. Nigeria is a copycat, copy and paste, do as them say and do is working for them. Let us try same and always look at countries that are far developed instead of applying what suits our country and situation.
Unfortunately, that's all we can take on today's show. We have to wrap up now, but please remember, as you go out, use your face mask, social distance, and wash your hands as often as you can. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.